Alright, hey, welcome back. So in the last video, we were yapping about the new characters and weapons that are coming to Genshin Impact 5.0 and how they can be very helpful for Aloy teams. It's time to be looking at the new artifacts as well as the artifact Strongbox update coming in 5.0. So let's get into it. So when it comes to the artifacts, we have two new artifact sets available that are coming in 5.0. We have the Scroll of the Hero of the Cinder City set, which I'm pretty sure everyone's just going to be calling the Scroll set. And then we also have Obsidian Codex, which people may be calling the Obsidian set. I don't really know. Now, the Scroll set, we'll start off with that, can be particularly interesting for Aloy teams, because if you recall back to the discussion about the new characters coming in 5.0, we have Kachina. Kachina, for all intents and purposes, is essentially an off-field Geo character with Night Soul, who can also react with Cryo because she's Geo. And so because of that, Kachina can actually make use of the 4-piece effect of the Scroll set, which would give Aloy, if she reacts with Cryo, a 40% damage bonus when Kachina's go-kart reacts with that Cryo, and it's off-field. So it could be a very, very strong option for freeze teams. It could get a bit finicky if you try to use it in some sort of melt team or burn team, but I will definitely be trying to make it work because, like I mentioned in the previous video, Kachina is free. And I actually really, really like her go-kart, so I'm probably going to level her up to at least level 80, and then we'll just see what happens there. Also keep in mind, just another thing that I kind of forgot to mention that I forgot to write in the script actually. There's going to be an update where doing a character's trial will, I guess, if memory serves, provide you with enough resources to get that character all the way up to level 60, which is kind of huge. Yeah, that's going to make it a lot easier for me, at the very least, to get Kachina up to level 80, because then I only have to farm so much to get from level 60 to level 80. So yeah, that sounds like a very, very big update that I actually forgot was a thing. So that's also happening as well. Anyway, all of this to say, I, for one, will definitely be having a look at Scroll Kachina and her effect on various Aloy teams. Keep an eye out for that. Now, there's also the Obsidian Codex set. Now, this one, at the present moment, is going to be completely and utterly useless on Aloy, but it does seem like it's geared towards on-field characters. The reason why it won't work on Aloy is because Aloy, like everyone else who isn't in Natlan, doesn't have a Night Soul mechanic. At all. She just doesn't have it, right? That being said, though, and I will discuss this in the third video about predictions about future characters, there may come a chance where everyone gets access to the Night Soul mechanic. We'll just have to see. And of course, finally, I do want to talk about the updated Strongbox. Now, the updated Strongbox, as it happened last year, is a pretty big buff to Aloy and her various teams. So let's just quickly go through the usual thing that we did last time, which is, of course, direct buffs and indirect buffs. So we'll start off with the direct buffs from the 8 artifact sets coming to the Strongbox. For those who don't remember, we have 6 from Sumeru, and for some reason we also have Mother Chaussee and Golden Troop. I guess to fill out the quota, but also at the same time, we have Mother Chaussee and Golden Troop available. So the direct buffs for Aloy include the Gilded Dreams set, which of course could be potentially useful for melt-based Aloy teams. If you play a team like Burnloy, where everyone is a different element to Aloy, then you will get 150 EM upon the first reaction. It won't affect the first reaction that Aloy does, but it will affect every other reaction moving forward, so that's really, really good. There's also, of course, the Mother Chaussee set that I just mentioned that is also coming to the Strongbox. This, of course, is a huge buff for anyone who has been trying to play a freeze-based Aloy team. You can now play basically Blizzard Strayer-like Aloy teams that work perfectly fine against bosses. Mother Chaussee on Aloy, or as I call it, French Loy, when played with Farina, because you actually kind of do need Farina to make this work unless you are somehow able to constantly take damage, in which case good luck. But as someone who actually plays this game with some level of skill, this doesn't seem to happen to me, so I do actually need to lean on Farina quite a lot in order to make Mother Chaussee work. When that is the case, it's so good. And I have been clearing almost all of the Spiral Abysses in the Fontaine cycle with French Loy at least once, so that's been very, very enjoyable indeed. highly recommend Mana Shosei on Aloy. And finally, I do want to mention Desert Pavilion. So obviously the 2-piece set is useless, but there is also the 4-piece set, which is 10% attack speed plus 40% normal attack damage bonus. That's actually kind of nice. Now keep in mind, for reference, Mika's skill at level 8 is 20% damage bonus, attack percent rather. So yeah, it's still a pretty solid amount of attack speed bonus, so good on that. The indirect buffs that are coming to the artifact Strongbox include Deepwood, which could potentially be good for just any of your Dendro off-fielders. Of course, in a burning team, I suppose the actual burning set is probably just as good, if not slightly better, than just running Deepwood. For Kinich, there's also the Obsidian set, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, should end up being better for him as well. If you're playing with Yao Yao or Baiju as your off-field Dendro application for a Burnloy team, for example, then perhaps a healing set might be more useful in that regard, because you don't really care about the Dendro damage at that point, right? But due to its versatility for other Dendro teams on top of Burnloy, I'd still say it's still a great choice for any and all of these characters, with the possible exception of Kinich and Emily. This is the artifact set that I use on Nahida in particular, and I just keep it on Nahida and I don't even bother swapping it, because I happen to have a top 1% Nahida on Deepwood. And then the other indirect buffs that are incoming include Vodokasha, specifically on the higher, because if you want to have some pretty gnarly skill damage, you can use Vodokasha. That way you get not just skill damage, but you also get some HP as well. And this one just is unconditional, and it also can buff her ult as well, if that's something you're interested in. But otherwise, you could potentially use Tenacity of the Millilith on the high instead, and give Aloy an attack buff, which is kind of nice. Or you could also just use Golden Troop as something for the higher, but also, of course, you can use Golden Troop on someone like Farina, because there's probably a good to fair chance you don't want to use Tenacity of the Millilith on Farina, specifically because Farina does a lot of damage as well, so her personal damage can be very useful in a French Lloyd team. So to that regard, Golden Troop is really good as an indirect buff for French Lloyd teams, because it's a way of building Farina, and that's really nice. I suppose you could also use it on Kachina, but like I mentioned, Kachina might actually be more suited to using the Obsidian set, or sorry, the Scroll set rather. So at that point, maybe not for her, but definitely for Farina or the higher. And so, yeah, at the present moment, it seems like artifact-wise, it's going to be a lot easier for Aloy mains to actually build their various Aloy teams, because of just the Strongbox actually being very good for Aloy mains. And so pairing that with last year's Artifact Strongbox update, yeah, we're in a pretty good spot, at least for just quickly building some Aloy teams. Let me know what all of this in the comments below. How do you feel about the new artifact set and the Artifact Strongbox update, and which artifact set are you getting ready to actually Strongbox, I suppose, in the comments below? And otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Genshin Impact action, and until next time, being the third and final video about the new character, or rather the standard 5-star selector, and potentially some of the new characters. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Let my name echo in song! Game's up. Fun's over. Busted. Got something for ya. I swear by my sword. Ha! a new